talks to Anirudh Garg, who is the partner and fund manager at INVasset PMS. Anirudh, good afternoon. We did see that Nifty hit an all-time high today, but would you say that the sentiment has changed for good? And what are the key triggers that will drive the markets ahead?
A very good afternoon to all of you at Moneycontrol. I think Nifty hitting all-time high is not the same as the same scenario that we saw in early 2023, because somewhere, the very essence which we feel at INVasset is the lifeblood of any equity market is momentum. And momentum is generally, spearheaded by small caps and particularly mid caps. So what we are seeing is that there's a lot of traction in a lot of money which is coming in through mutual funds and SIPs and other avenues. They're all going into the large caps right now because firstly, there's lack of growth in small caps. And along with it, even though the large caps are expensive enough, but that money has to go somewhere. So I think this is not a very broad-based rally, and the returns that we expected from the markets a couple of years ago, when the same event happened in around November of 2022, we do not expect the same type of continuation to follow for the next couple of years because there is a lack of earnings momentum, and particularly the hot money, I would say, around the world is chasing AI. That is the new fad or new reality. And India unfortunately does not have a lot of AI companies, or a lot of companies are working towards AI, and that is something is missing. You look at the broader markets of any country, be it US, Taiwan, Japan, all of them have done phenomenally well. Some of them have even done 50% plus from the last 6 to 8 months, where we bottomed out in February or March this year. While India has just the Nifty has maybe from 22,000 levels to 26,000 levels has done pretty okay. But if we look at the broader indices, there's a lot of catching up to do. And owing to the high valuations, people are not investing. The money is not flowing there.
Okay. Anirudh, you mentioned your point about the AI bubble and, of course, the AI inefficiency that the India has. But, they've been saying that given that the AI bubble has been growing and the narrative has been growing in the market, so India could benefit being as an anti-AI player as of now. So what's your thoughts on this particular narrative as of now?
I do not think it's an AI bubble right now. I think it's just started, and I may go ahead and tell you that I believe that Nvidia will be the first $10 trillion company that the world will see. So I do not think that AI is a bubble right now, and we do not know about the capabilities. Look at the track record they have. There's a lot of things to come. There are a lot of things that follow when a bubble is burst. you know Funds come up, targets get off the roof. The reality and the hope, the fight between them is still showing that there is a lot of negativity and pessimism about the AI bubble that is building up. It's still in very initial phases for us, though we are tracking it very actively. But I still believe that this is where the growth is, and money will flow towards AI going forward as well.
Okay. And then what's your point of view on Indian IT? Because right now, I mean, we're seeing a lot of traction and buying interest towards the IT sector. I mean, we've seen some sequential growth in the second quarter, but discretionary spends have been quite weak. But for you, how does it look like as of now?
I think it's just anti what Indian IT is till today. We are the provider of services. Writing a code in my office. Let's take it to the micro level when you have to solve things. A code writing, which suppose from one software to another, we develop something in a software, and we have to check the same thing in another software. It used to take us, say, anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks to get the code right. Now it takes around 2 to 3 minutes. Why? Because of the artificial intelligence that has come up. So automatically the need for those team members who were writing this code, though we have not laid off anybody, but of course the importance has gone down. They have to think about other avenues through which they can grow, and there is a real struggle in that part. So I believe that Indian IT has its own path. It will keep on playing that path. better they adopt to AI, and they are adopting it at a very fast pace. They know they have lagged, and I don't know why, because we were the leaders in IT all over the world. Why we lagged at this one? Yeah. So somewhere we feel that Indian IT is lagging and will not perform as good as their AI counterparts in USA and elsewhere. But I do believe that the Indian IT right now, especially the large caps, are at a good valuations. They've been ignored for a particular period of time, and things are not as bad as they seem. They are very, very strong, fundamentally strong companies led by extraordinary entrepreneurs, and somewhere the catching up to do in terms of valuations will come for Indian, IT. But will they be as good as performers as their Western counterparts? I don't think so. I believe
Okay.
that barring a couple of companies, a lot of them have a lot of lifting to do.
Okay, okay. But what about India being an AI services play? I mean, now, does that make that an attractive opportunity for Indian IT? Because once the capex cycle moderates, I mean, all the focus will be shifting towards services. So, does that mean that Indian IT could benefit in one way or the other?
I think the what will come to Indian IT will be at a very gradual pace as it has been coming in the past. If they will gain business out of AI, AI will take away their business as well. So we are, it's like a seesaw. You are just contemplating between the two. The best thing would be that India, being a hub of the most intelligent minds out there, takes a forefront, and not just being a services sector, becomes a bigger player in terms of going out and competing with the likes of Google and OpenAI and Nvidia and such. We have the minds. It's the same minds that are developing the stuff for these American companies. Why not for Indian companies? So somewhere somebody has to take a call. People, I was reading the Infosys last 10 years, how the company has progressed. Anybody who dared to think out of the services sector bent of mind was thrown away from the company. So I think these things need to change. And they were very early investors in OpenAI. They had a proposal to be a very, very early investors in OpenAI, and that was rejected by the board. So things like that now take to take a, towards progress, towards innovation is something what Indian IT companies need to think forward to. And I believe they will. Now they know the importance, they will.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And what about the rate cut bets? I mean, there's a growing optimism toward across the global markets that and India is not an exception in pricing in that optimism as well. So, are you also in the rate cut campaign for December?
Oh, I think so. I think so. Rate cut in December is more or less, I believe, a reality. I think India, when we talk about India as per se, India is positioned, leave the AI thing aside, let's leave the hopes aside. But on the very ground, India is very, very positively positioned. First of all, we have our inflation under control. We have our growth rate, which is highest among the growing economy, large growing economies. Then we have our GST rate cut, which is a phenomenal tax incentive that the government has given to the industry. Owing to all these factors, I believe that India has a right stage for it. The only problem with India is the valuations in India are a little on the expensive side. And if growth returns, which will eventually, and the deal goes through, which is we have been seeing we've been hoping for it, but when it goes through, the things are clear. I think the broad-based equity rally should also resume from there.
Okay, okay. I don't think you mentioned your point, how the broader end of the markets, both the mid cap and small caps, they've struggled to keep pace despite our headline indices hitting all time highs. So, I mean, what do you think will play as a catch up rally for both of these indices to go ahead?
See, it's very difficult to say right now until unless the deal is clear that what deal is India getting vis-a-vis China. See, India is a very, very competitive market now, and in many segments, we can beat China if we get a little bit favorable context from the US government. So we have to wait for the deal to get over, and otherwise things are okay. We will, let's talk about sectors which are very, very real in terms of the domestic part. like our stock market intermediaries. We have been seeing a large inflow of SIPs. The SEBI paper that came up for reduction in the TER for the mutual funds has also been rejected now. The brokerage firms, I believe the SEBI paper that came up for reduction of the number of options is also in a foray now. I don't believe that it is coming through. So all the capital market infrastructure is, I believe, okay. Somewhere I feel banks, Indian banks, especially the public sector banks, are very, very well capitalized. NPA problem that they had in the past has totally been solved, and things are okay at that end as well. Somewhere the new age companies that have come up, the platform companies, they are changing the way the consumer discretionary spending that is happening in India. So there are a lot of sectors which are domestically okay. The catching has to be done by the export sectors now. Now, if the deal goes through properly as India expects it, the export sectors will lead, and there will be overall optimism in terms of no negative factor out there.
Would this also mean that the FI outflows, which has been a major concern for our markets, could also make a reversal?
If it stops only, I will be very, very happy because see, what happens is now that when there are a lot of IPOs going on, when the public is not caring about what valuations they are buying something on, so FII stopping of FII outflow is rather difficult. Firstly, because they are getting the growth in their market. That market, those markets are not that expensive as your market. And something I would like to put it as a way, something that they bought in acres is now being sold in square feet. They've made so much money in India. So I don't think that FII outflow should stop right now because we are expensive on the one end, and on the other end, we have a little bit of growth concerns as well, and a little bit of confusion in terms of the global perspective, especially coming from the US. Had it been any other country, it would be okay. But since it is US, FIIs, the primary money in India has come, or anywhere in the world comes from the US. So when you have locked your horns with the US, the FIIs, they will take a breather until the deal goes through.
Okay, okay. Anirudh, I mean, there was a key policy decision that came in. That was your government approving the incentive package to promote rare earth magnet manufacturing. So, how do you make sense of this move, given that we have always remained a net importer of rare earth magnets, and now the shift of focus will be towards the production of it?
I think it's a reality that we've been late in recognizing, but better late than never. And this is something that the entire world, this is something that USA, this is a trump card which China had to get USA to the table and agree to their terms. So somewhere the government policy, all the government policies, I believe, in the last 2 years are very, very welcome. They are taking amazing steps, very, very proactive. As soon as they recognize there is a need for something to be done, that those things are being done. Had it not been the Indian government, owing to rest of the, I believe, countries in our vicinity or similar to us, the economies are not in that healthy shape as Indian economy is. So totally hats off to the government and full points in terms of how proactive and how effective they have been in their policy decision making.
Okay, okay, all right. All right, Anirudh, with that, we have to let you go, but thank you so much for your time and joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.